Yes, NFL preseason is about player rotations, but at the core, NFL preseason is often about coaching, head coaches, and what they want to accomplish. And there are a handful of head coaches in the NFL who are as bet against gets when it comes to August football, as long as they're not playing another team that doesn't give a crap, which happens often enough. But two teams slash coaches that I want to bet against on Saturday, let's talk about it right here with today's Daily Double Big Game Breakdown. On this video, I'm going to talk about the Chiefs and the Bucs, but first, I'm going to talk about the Saints and the Rams. But before I even do that, I'm going to talk about Marv Levy, the legendary Buffalo Bills head coach from back in the day. 4 straight Super Bowls for Marv Levy and company with Buffalo. And when I first moved to Vegas, he was still the Bills head coach. And the bettors that I talked to when I was on my way up were like, NFL preseason is easy. Just find a coach to bet against him. Marv Levy was that guy. You know who else is that guy? Andy Reid. You know who else is that guy? Sean McVay. But when it comes to McVay, he's been playing a lot of other teams in preseason that also don't care a lot. Is that going to be the case this week? Let's talk about it. Right now, we'll start with the Saints and the Rams, and New Orleans is road chalk. In LA, I'm seeing -1, -1.5, -2, total 37.5 for this ballgame. And again, the Saints are favored in LA against the Rams. What does this tell us? It tells us that preseason is not the regular season. It tells us don't worry about your opinions about what these teams are supposed to be next month. Worry about what the game plan is for these two teams this month, and in particular for this game. And for the LA Rams, again, McVay doesn't care. All right. We're not going to see the starters in this game. We're not going to see most of the backups in this game. What you have is developmental QBs, and third stringer guys fighting for the last few roster spots. And that's what the Rams are going to bring to the table. It's what they've been bringing to the table. Now, the Rams don't have a dismal track record in recent preseasons because they've been facing a lot of other teams like them in August, ironically. Teams. And also, Stetson Bennett's been all right. Bennett's been a decent QB for LA. But I'm not expecting a ton of Stetson Bennett here. I'm expecting more Ty Simpson again this week than last week. And Ty Simpson, again, he may be the answer for the future. But when we talk about your rookie QBs getting your first NFL snaps, that's not a bet on scenario by any stretch of the imagination. And, LA, again, a team that has much bigger, every move that the Rams are making right now is how do we be good in January? How do we be good in February? I'm not worried about winning games in August. Not even a little bit. The Saints are. And the Saints have a QB rotation who we want. And again, not like Stetson Bennett's bad news. He's okay, but I'm not expecting Bennett to play in the second half of this ballgame a whole lot. It's going to be Simpson, the rookie. For the Saints, you have a legitimate competition for the backup quarterback spot, and that is a bet on scenario. Spencer Rattler battling with Zach Wilson. Both guys have started in this league. Both guys have experience. Both guys played fairly well last week. Certainly Wilson did. And Wilson was the best quarterback in the field for either team last week. Again, a veteran guy playing against second and third and fourth string defenders. That's a positive sign. And of course, the Saints are not thinking about Super Bowl for February. They're thinking about how do we get to 500 this year. There's urgency for New Orleans in a way to start the preseason than there isn't for the Rams. Bottom line here, I don't want any part of McVay. I don't want any part of the Rams in this point spread range. When I'm talking about -1, -1.5, -2 in the preseason, I'm always playing my favorites on the money line because there's a lot of preseason games decided by less than a field goal. Coach will go for 2 instead of going to overtime, that kind of crap. So Saints money line is worth a look for this better in Sunday afternoon. Sunday. It's not Sundays yet. Saturday afternoon action in the NFL preseason. Before I talk about Kansas City and Tampa Bay, I do want to let you know about what's going on right now at WagerTalk.com. And I want to talk about Splash Sports for a minute because this contest at Splash Sports is really cool. SplashSports.com/WagerTalk. It's a $21 million guarantee survivor pool. Right? But It's not just a survivor pool. It's like, all right, yeah, everyone's got survivor pools nowadays. But first, not everyone has a $21 million survivor pool. Okay. Second, when we look at the splash contest versus the Vegas contest, no proxy, no flight to Vegas, no hotel room, no Saturday deadline. You can put in all 20 plays. You can put in all the plays before the season starts, for all 18 weeks, I should say, and do it all before the season starts if you want. I think these are positive things in general for people that aren't in Vegas. And of course, it's available 35 states. Splashsports.com/WagerTalk will get you $100 in free credit after signing up for this $21 million survivor pool. And again, splashsports.com/WagerTalk, password WagerTalk. I also want to let you know about what's going on with me. My NFL Season 1 report is out, up and available. Don't buy it. I had a 5% big ticket in NFL action on Friday. Don't buy it. I encourage you, if you want to partner up this football season, and again, it's a commitment. $5.99 is my full season NFL. That counts everything from the win report that's out right now, preseason action, regular season action, playoffs, Super Bowl. Nothing more to buy, no nonsense. Take $50 off. Promo code Teddy50 at checkout. $5.49 full season from today through the Super Bowl. There's nothing more to buy. There is no nonsense when you do with WagerTalk. If you're interested, let's partner up. Again, promo code Teddy50 at checkout or splashsports.com/WagerTalk, password WagerTalk. Thank you for your consideration. Now, let's talk about the late game, or one of the late games. I said there's still Dallas, Arizona goes later, but Tampa and Kansas City. And I talked about McVay doesn't care. Andy Reid doesn't care either. Andy Reid, 0-7 straight up. 0-6-1. You can make an argument one of them was a win or a half-point win. 0-6-1 /1-6 against the spread since the start of the 2024 preseason. Andy Reid, his job doesn't worry. He's not worried about getting fired for a preseason loss. You know what I mean? Andy Reid's got a bigger fish to fry than winning games in August. And when you talk about what we expect for Kansas City this week, a lot of Justin Fields and a lot of Garrett Nussmeier. I saw Nussmeier live here in Las Vegas. I went to see LSU versus USC, my buddy Gabe Morency, sports rage guy. And we both had the same thought after the game was, this guy's no pro. Nussmeier. And again, obviously one game, I watched Nussmeier enough right now. I watched him last week in the second half. 5.2 yards per pass attempt, took a couple of sacks. I'm not looking at Garrett Nussmeier as being anyone who's going to help Kansas City. I'm not looking at Garrett Nussmeier as a guy who I want my money on in the preseason. And given Andy Reid's tracker, he needs to get his backups up to speed. Lots of Justin Fields, lots of Nussmeier. That's not a bet on duo for this better. Tampa's going to get starters in the play. And I don't expect to see a lot of the starters from Todd Bowles. What we do have for Todd Bowles and Tampa Bay is a very different preseason track record than what we've seen from Andy Reid and company. Andy Reid, again, 0-7 in his last 7 preseason games, 0-6-1 or 1-6 ATS. Todd Bowles and the Bucs have had a winning preseason 2024. They had a winning preseason 2020. And again, winning 2 out of 3 games last year, winning 2 out of 3 games the year before that, winning the opener this past week because they were the better team after the starters came out. The depth is there for Tampa Bay. The quarterback rotation is there, especially. And again, we're not talking about the elite QBs. Once Mayfield comes out of the game, and Mayfield's likely to only get a drive or 2 at the most. But Connor Baselak is a dual threat QB. In the second half, Jalen Daniels, the rookie out of Kansas, he led 2 long touchdown drives last week. He has that dual threat ability. And the only thing I want from a QB at this stage, when you talk about the developmental QBs, I want a QB who can scramble for a first down when it's 3rd and 7 and everybody's covered. And Tampa Bay has that. They have 2 quarterbacks that can do that after Mayfield comes out. So it's not a cheap price to lay with the Bucs. The market's already on Tampa. I'm seeing 5.5s out there, 37 the prevailing number. I wouldn't argue if someone wanted to play under in this matchup. I'm not expecting a whole lot of points from Kansas City. And that tells us Chiefs team total under, if you want to go there, Chiefs first half, under, if you want to go there. But Tampa's the way here. The Bucs are favored here for good reason. Tampa minus 5.5. It's the only way you can look at this game. The Bucs' only home game this preseason. I do expect them to win it by margin. Thanks so much for watching WagerTalk TV, guys. Stay tuned right here on the channel for more quality video content. We appreciate the comments, the likes, the follows very, very much. Again, check out my homepage, wg.buzz/TC, and have yourself a great betting weekend. Cheers.